My name is Kristijan and I am the lead blockchain solution specialist for developing the custodial wallet with Revuto's team. Today I want to introduce you a bit more in technical details and what we are doing over the last few months and what we actually discovered by working on it with Cardano blockchain and Cardano ecosystem. So overall, I will go through regulations, securities, and something interest for us for the future development is Merry, hard fork, and Babel. And also I will outline some of the challenges which we had and which we are currently investigating and researching. So Revuto's custodial wallet is actually the infrastructure which we were developed after the token sale so that we can airdrop all the tokens to the token sale customers. It is completely done by Cardano bash scriptings and CLI without any kind of dependencies, running directly in the shell. And we really did some comprehensive work. It doesn't matter if it's just a wallet or just sending the transactions in bulk or whatever. We wanted to improve it by some special procedures which we implemented into overall infrastructure of the wallet. So one of part which we did from the security part is, for example, Shamir's secret, where we didn't want to compromise our procedures being developed just by one developer or key rotation being done just by one operator. We wanted to, let's say, internally decentralize the whole wallet and how we manage the operations behind. But before that, let's quickly speak about regulation and compliance. As you know, being a custodial and offering a custodial services requires some regulations and some specific compliance requirements from us. So that's also something important for us because that way we prove that your tokens who are at our wallet and stored in our infrastructure are actually protected by the law of the country where we are currently settled, and that's Croatia. So what we are doing with the regulation compliance, we are currently implementing the CipherTrace, which is a crypto analytics company being used to analyze the blockchain data so we can prevent any kind of money laundering initiative or some kind of, let's say, terrorist activities or transaction launderers, etc. On the other hand, we will need to require the KYC process with the national ID verification and connect all that to your customer profile. While we are implementing that particular components, we will need more time just to speak with the regulators and provide all the necessary information and all the necessary data to them so they can see that we implemented all what is required. From security point of view and what we have already now, I already told you Shamir's secret, which is amazing way of sharing some data between multiple participants and multiple stakeholders. The next thing which we implement and which is running at the moment is HashiCorp Vault. That's encrypted vault where all of our sensitive data is stored, and we have specialized procedures how to use it and how to read the data, how to write the data, and how to consume them by the application itself. Our plan is to be FIPS2 regulated in future, which basically means we will going to migrate to HSM module, which is, let's say, the highest level of security you can have in those kind of infrastructures. The centralized key rotation is something what let's say is our methodology, how we wanted to do it, is basically we are not aware as a developers where your deposit address will be generated and by which HashiCorp vault. We have multiple vaults completely stored on different servers and on different virtual machines, and API is actually controlling over the load balancers and over the API clusters. They are controlling where they will ping and create the deposit address for you guys. So my developer and my team of developers cannot access to your deposit address in any way, only in particular when we are moving the money to the cold storage so that we can protect of outside attacks. But that is also completely regulated, and we have standardized procedures like we have in banks, because we want to mimic all the procedures, mostly to have it like the banks have. And I think we will add even more security to our infrastructure, as we are doing a comprehensive R&D. That is actually how we approach to every challenge. And I think that, okay, deadlines needs to be met, and you always need to finish what you said, and you need to deliver what you said to you guys as a community. But you also need to be aware that what we are developing is actually pioneering on the Cardano blockchain. So we are actually the first one who created the fully custodial wallet, which works with basically any kind of native tokens. All what we need is like policy ID and your registration ID of your native token, and we are completely capable to process your tokens, for example, or any kind of native tokens on Cardano. We wanted to build it modularly so that we can scale. And what I think that community do not understand is that running a blockchain product is like running a bank. So tell me how much time you will need to open a bank if you are going to open it right now. It's really challenging, and that's why actually we want to bring you all of this more close to you guys. So what's the next thing which we want to have is, we said Revuto is DeFi, and Revuto will use DeFi elements to hedge your subscription, and that completely makes sense, because doing that is something what will actually bring you as a Revuto user to have more organization in managing your subscription. So if you are more organized, you will gain more profit and more revenue from Revuto financial products. To strike that opportunity, we found one particular component of the Cardano blockchain, which is called Bubble, and that came with a merry hard fork. It's connected to the staking pools. We already developed and we launched a staking pool on testnet. It's working. Now what we want to have is automated scripts which can help us to launch as many staking pools we need to offer you a stable financial products. So what we discovered in the community and technical forums is that it is possible to stake Cardano again and get native token as reward. So that's something on what we are working right now, because we think that is the most important part to bringing DeFi close to Revuto and close to you guys, and really striking those challenges which we already mentioned during the token sale. Staking pools are also great thing to combine with Launchpad, like Airfund, which we have here. Airfund is something what can be used to launch new exciting products to bring more power to the Cardano ecosystem. And we think that staking pools can be used to get more fair, let's say more fair model, and to eliminate whales. Because as I was investigating on the other chains and on the other launchpads, allocating the token sale position for you as an investor is the most important part of fair movement in a launchpad, because allocation can come from various principles. One of them is lottery allocation, where basically you as a more interactive user, you gain more power in, let's say, Revu power. With more Revu power, you have more chance to get your spot allocation in a token sale. Something like that we want to offer you guys as a community, and we want to offer you as a Revuto supporter, and we want to eliminate any kind of whaling in that process. So how we are doing that? We are doing really hard R&D on those instruments. So everything what we are doing in future and right now is being tested and verified in various situations. Yes, we had some problems with the mobile apps in the past, but you must understand it was not because of lack of expertise. It was because we wanted to bring as much as we can in a small amount of time. And we work hard. More than 15 people are actually developing that. And with the support of technical equipment and toolkit from Cardano network, trust me, we did the best what we can. We learned a lot, and we saw all the bottlenecks, and we saw all the, let's say, mistakes which we did. So it's not going to be a problem for us in the future. We now understand how to approach to all this with much, much better quality. Team actually agreed that we are going to move to you saw that we have a staking center, but we now agreed that we are going to move to the staking pools, and let's see how to bring them in more scalable way, to have more pools for different size of instruments, for different usage of instruments. And what we discovered there while doing it on the testnet, we will definitely have some challenges. One of the challenges is procedure handling. So how we are going to implement all what we have right now with a custodial wallet, with non-custodial wallet, how we are going to operate that, how we are going to push the rewards to the users, how we are going to manage the staking pool, etc. The second thing is Plutus and Marlow, which is required to have more logic and more business models around those staking pools or liquidity pools in future. We think that this actually, the Plutus and Marlow is okay because it's a playground where you have descriptive language. Descriptive language is low-code to no-code principle, where you basically explain what needs to be done in a smart contract, and then it's compiled to the Plutus, and from the Plutus to the Haskell and into the binary. The problem with it right now is that it's new. It's not complex because it's hard, and they did something what was not done before. The problem is it's new, and everything what's new takes time for developers to absorb. I think that within this year, 2022, the Plutus and Marlow playground will get more traction and more developers interested into researching that technology. And at the end, what I wanted to touch base is Air Fund. I think it's one of the best things which we can offer as a successful token sale, and everything what we learned from having that token sale and know-how which we have from the business perspective, from the technical perspective, from regulatory perspective, from community perspective. We want to offer that to really good and great projects in Cardano ecosystem. On top of that, why Air Fund is something great, I think it is because all what we have now behind Revuto can be replicated and used for the new projects. So there will be no more research and, let's say, hidden problems or hidden things. We already learned, and we are ready to offer that know-how to new project founders. We are also ready to bring more strength to the ecosystem, like we have the recent Sunday swap, where we think it's a great start for DeFi in Cardano. There is a lot of it in front of them and in front of us, but you need to understand that it's just a start. It's not something what will vanish. It will be here, but community also needs to understand that being a supporter of some blockchain project also means that you get involved. So it's not just about speaking on Telegram groups. It's about, if you have something, please propose it. We are going to listen. We have our community support, which will listen you, come to us and say, hey, they think this is good. Me and my team are actually getting all the comments from you guys, and we are trying to be successful in resolving them as soon as possible, so that the latest one will be the circulating supply, which we are going to create based on clean UTXO, so that you can be sure that everything what will come from circulating supplies is completely read and parsed from the blockchain itself. Most of data which we store and which we push to the database are, not most, 90%, 99% of the data comes from the blockchain, and it's just parsed from our side to be more readable for the audits and future. So I hope you will find this video interesting and that you will learn. And please, if you have any questions, write down in comments, subscribe to our channel. I will get all the ideas, all the feedbacks from you guys, and I am keen to answer to you. And do not worry about Revutos, and because we are going to deliver everything what we said, and we are going to do it with the highest quality possible. Thank you.